Literacy for AI-assisted software engineering. Rajat, the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So hi, good morning everyone. First of all, I want to thank the university for giving me opportunity to speak on this topic. And secondly, I'll tell something about myself. So my name is Rishabh Bhandari. So I have 10 plus years of experience working in IT domain. So I got a chance to work in different domain services such as pharmaceutical, enterprise. Apart from that, I have worked on the e-commerce and engineering domains as well. Sorry, I think so it's again like
It's back.
oh it's okay. Sorry. So yeah. Yes, one second. Yeah, sorry. So as I was saying that I have 10 plus years of experience, and apart from that I've written a couple of research papers, and apart from that I hold a couple of patents as well. So today I'm going to speak on this topic, which is teaching governance literacy for AI assisted software engineering. So I want to begin with a question. So my first question, again it's not working.
I think you have to hit play. Yeah.
No, that will work.
Yeah, that should.
Okay. So yeah, I wanna, sorry for the interruption, everyone. So I wanna begin with a question. So suppose a final year of student from a university being asked to generate a secure backend API services. So so he was able, so he used ChatGPT. He is given a prompt. The ChatGPT given the desired result. He was able to generate the API. He was able to compile that, and the test cases were passing. Everything was working. So the university given him a good grade, thinking that okay, so he was able to pass the assignment. But my question begins: did he learn anything? I don't think so. He learned anything. And the problem began when that particular student will be moved into a corporate world where they will be asked to build a similar sort of stuff. But since he didn't understood at the time of an assignment, so he won't be able to deliver over there as well. So that's a big challenge. These are some of the things that I'm going to speak in my paper that need to be taken care at a university level, so that the students won't feel any sort of problem when moving to a corporate world. So yeah. So before that, I just want to mention, I just want to show some of the numbers to you. In late 2022, the ChatGPT and Copilot become very famous, and students start using in their assignment and their work. And later on, it become a regular practice in year 2024 to 2025 in a corporate world to use AI tools. And in year 2025, AI was becoming so vast that EU has written an article for where they mention that it should not be a normal AI prompt stuff. Now they should be a literacy compliance with the matter that whatever they are generating, they should be having a proper knowledge of that, and it should not be limited to a prompt engineering. So students now producing code fast, no doubt about it, and AI is helpful as well. But they need to govern this as well. They need to understand whatever it is being generated. They should be having an understanding of that. Now I want to show you another number, which is basically it doesn't come so often in a visibility. But since I'm working in a corporate world, so I know some of the insights. So no doubt, in a recent study, Copilot has shown 56% of speed increase. By speed increased, I mean to say the codes are being generated very quickly, the documents are being generated very quickly. Moreover, in the energy sector, so I'm currently working for a British Petroleum. So I've seen in their reports that we are getting almost 30% of improvement in sort of a work that is being done by AI. But no one talks about that 40%. So there are vulnerabilities in the code that is being generated. By vulnerabilities, I mean to say, so whatever the code AI is suggesting us, in that code there are a lot of outdated packages, outdated libraries, and that are causing the issues in the production. And as I have given example previously as well, that some of these servers in the production for a well-known company were closed due to these outdated libraries because they took a help of ChatGPT and implemented a same code without understanding whether that will bring any value to their code or not. So this was the one thing that I want to show you numbers. Now let's begin. So these are the three points that we need to take into account. So basically, computing, education, AI governance, and productivity and risk. So based on my study, I have noticed that there are three main competency gaps that need to be taken care. These are the main gaps, and it's not specifically to an engineering student. It's also with the others as well. So let me give you an example. The first one is that suppose they have generated some sort of code which was a part of their assignment. So they took a help of Copilot or ChatGPT or some other cloud. So they were able to generate they were able to complete the assignment and they were able to deliver the stuff. But the problem, as I mentioned, the library choices and the implementation patterns, they haven't noticed whether that is being acceptable in a current world or not, because sometimes ChatGPT gives us a response that are already outdated. So we need to be very sure that whatever we are generating, is it worthwhile or not. And the second thing is that sometime, I don't know, if someone is from the engineering background, they might have observed. So if they take a help of Copilot or ChatGPT, they will change the architecture by themselves without knowing, without asking for a prompt from you. Okay, we are making these changes. We are taking into consideration that we will use these packages, these libraries. So these are the other things that need to be taken care. Now the third thing, which is basically the outcome. So for example, we were given a task. A student was given a task to do an assignment. So he did that assignment as well, and he got a desired marks. But the problem is that did it really solve the issue, or is it just only for a passing marks? So similarly, in the IT world, what we have noticed that new graduates that come to a company, they're not able to take the ownership of the code that they have delivered. So they will say, okay, we took a help from Copilot and we generated this. But ideally, they should take a ownership. They can only take ownership if they understood the code or understood the work that they generated from them. So these are the three frameworks that is being used to fill these gaps. First one is architectural ownership. So by architectural ownership, what I mean to say that the decision should always be in a hand of human. So it should not that we are properly relying on AI code. So if there is any design change that is being suggested by AI, that need to be done by a human validation. So in a company, we generally have architects who give us a proper designs, and sometime a task is being given to a developer and he did that task. But the problem is that he also changed the design, and it will cause the problem since we are using a microservice architecture nowadays. So one microservice can disturb the other microservice if we are changing the design. So design should always be in the hand of humans. And the second thing is structure validation. So as I mentioned that we are getting a desirable output, but the things that are being used, the infrastructure that is being used, the libraries, the package manager, that need to be taken care and they need to be validated whether that are compatible or not. Because nowadays NPM package manager contains a lot of vulnerabilities, and if Copilot doesn't consider in a sake of giving you a quick response, then it is going to be a very challenging stuff for the companies and for the learning of student as well. Last but not the least, the operational observability. So by operational observability means whatever the code that we have written by AI, that should be able to give the justification as well. We should be having a proper alerts, monitors. Whenever there is any failure, we should be able to know, okay, this thing has been failed due to this reason. Okay, so again, I can give now whatever I have explained you, I am giving you examples of that as well. For example, AI generated a authentication service. The code compiles and tested as well. But the requirement was that we need to use the auth token, refresh token, session manager, these things. Since AI didn't take a headache of all these things, so the student should be able to understand what exactly is my requirement. They should not be like writing a simple prompt and generate me a backend service, and they don't have any sort of knowledge about these terms. So this should be taken care. And second thing, like I told you, structure validation, that they get a desirable result, but the authentication was weak, validation was weak. So these were the things that need to be taken into account. By operational observability, as I told you, that wherever we have used AI, we should be logging that, we should be tracing that, we should be having the metrics of all those. Now, whatever I'm saying, how it can be implemented in a university. So when it's my personal suggestions. So for example, a student has been given an assignment to complete this work. Now, rather than submitting that assignment directly to a professor, it should actually be given to the other classmates as well. Why? Because there is something called version control. So that version control is nothing, that the other guys first approve this particular assignment, and if that assignment is approved, then only a professor will be able to take that assignment. Now later on, the others will also be accountable whether you understood whatever he has written or not. That's how we can block the students to don't use AI in in a wrong manner, and they should be accountable for whatever that things they are getting generated by AI. Moreover, in the engineering field or in the IT companies, there is something they have recently introduced. They started giving tokens to each and every individual. Now, since the tokens are limited, we can't really ask AI to develop a complete functionality for us. So, in that case, they need to optimize and they need to use those tokens very carefully, so that these tokens should be that the token should not be finished. So similar way, I think so. In a university, we should start giving the assignment in such a way that that assignment should be done only in the university. That should not be done outside the university. They can't do it from the home. Okay. So here I think so. Engineers like me and others can help to develop such an infrastructure and give this privilege to university to make the environment secure, and the assignments will be done in the class only, and they will be given us some sort of tokens. Okay, for example, you have only given us 60 tokens, you can't use beyond that. So the students will be very conscious that we should not waste this token. If we have wasted this token, it will be really a problem for them. And again, after completing the task, the others will review the task, and then only a final confirmation or a final assignment will be given to a professor. Moreover, I personally believe that the university start using the RAG sort of architecture, where they will be having all those assignments in their own AI assistant that can help the others to properly use and do not misuse the AI stuff. So this is what that I want to mention. Moreover, I can say that this is what need to be changed in the modules, that move governance into coding, testing, system design, and build a final year AI assessment engineering module, just like I have mentioned, and use practitioner information, case materials, and teach AI literacy in 3 layers. They should know, they should take a governance of whatever work they have did, and they should also take a capability into understanding what exactly that code is being doing. So yeah, these are some of the things that I can mention, that we can set up a AI code review lab, architecture architectural relationals, and security testing, and yeah, these are some of the points that I want to mention. And in the last, I just want to say that we don't want to be good at prompt engineering. we should also understand whatever the AI is being generating. So yeah, these are the some of the reference that I have used in my study. That's it.
Thank you, Rishabh.
Any questions? Anyone?
We have time for questions. Any questions? Please, go ahead.
I just wanted to know more about these tokens, that how would they actually be implemented? How would you ensure that the students are just going to limit themselves to those tokens and not use any other, AI outside of those restricted tokens that you would allow them to?
So I personally built one tool, and that is being used to give up Claude tokens to the new trainees who is coming to my company. So I have the infrastructure set up that only 60 tokens will be given to them for a week. Okay. After then, if anything after that token, if they need any other token, so they need to raise a request to me, and then I need to see, okay, why where they have finished, what exactly they have done with that 60 tokens. So I have built an infrastructure like that, and I think so the universities should also take this into account and build such an infrastructure. Now coming to the second question that you have said, can't they use the other AI tools? So our system is secure in such a way that our code cannot be run in their own laptops, and it is secure in the infrastructure itself. Similar way, the assignments should also be inside our software. I can build a software.
Not just generating, and you understand how AI has generated. Like you're being lane. I was just thinking out loud.
It's a very, very nice point. I want to mention something. So what we are recently building, we have already built it. It was about to go live, and even my patent is around that. So what we are doing, so whenever something has been built, okay, we raise a pull request for that. Okay. Now when we are raising a pull request, by pull request I mean to say, for example, you did some work, someone other need to validate that work, and if he will validate that work, then only that code will go to the production. Okay. So what we are doing, whenever we have built an AI tool that will understand, and that will going to flag, okay, this code has been taken from another chat GPT or another AI environment. So how it is doing, is able to understand what exactly the engineers are doing, how they are coding. So we have an assignment, okay, in our company. So whenever we onboard anyone new, they need to go through an assignment, and they can't use any AI tool over there. With that assignment, we can able to study that person and see how he is coding. So the way he is declaring the variables, how he is thinking, and the same thinking is being used when he is pushing his code. So we come to know, okay, this is being done by AI, not by himself. That's how we are doing. And if we found that code has been done by AI, so we are explaining them, okay, this piece of code is doing this stuff, and this library is specifically being used due to this purpose. And there can other alternatives as well. You can also see these new technologies or new libraries, and you can start introducing that. So we have built our layer. So as you mentioned that we are not directly teaching them, but the work they are doing, after completing their work, we are generating a summary that these are the things that are being done by AI, and this is the purpose why you use them. So that's how we are doing as of now. Thank you. Yes, sir.
So I have two related questions, but I think one of the challenges that relates to this is that, I guess there's the whole issue of debugging debt, right? And then the other is the code bloat, right? So both are problems in this.
Correct.
Because how do we teach the students about this? Because I think they're going to use the AI to generate code, but they have to also understand that there's going to be unnecessary code in there, right?
Yes.
Which is the problem of bloating.
Yes.
So and we don't have tools that actually evaluate the code. So
Yeah. But in our company, I'm working for BP, so we have built some tools like that. So it is going to flag, okay, this is an unnecessary part. And moreover, we have noticed in some of the things that the code that is being generated by AI is not 100% sure that it will be optimized.
right.
So what we have written a tool that will analyze their code, and that they will give us suggestions as well. Okay, you have wasted these much tokens. Okay, instead of that, if you use this prompt, and you would be getting a desirable result, and your code would be more optimized. And that's how we are doing that. And I totally agree that this is an issue currently. That is there, that unnecessarily code and unnecessary things are being added.
And also there's a whole debugging problem, because if it generates the code and then if it makes an error, then you are spending more time as a
Exactly.
developer on
Yeah.
figuring out what the AI did.
That's why there was a point of architecture, that they should actually know, and the architecture change should also be gone through a human. So we have an architect in our team who is, if there will be any design change, so I'll tell you, we have a system. If we made any change and we took a help of Copilot to generate a piece of code that changed some sort of architecture, we have a monitoring system. Our alert will go to his teams and Outlook, that will come to know, okay, that this person has changed the design, and then there will be a call set up with the architect, that why you have changed the design, is it intentional or is it unintentional. So these sort of things we are doing here.
Is this in-house tools or are they open source?
No, this is in-house currently. So
Well, you should open source them for education.
yeah.
Is there any more questions? Then I have the last one. Maybe you're suggesting that we limit the credits that we give to students in engineering, and I wonder whether this sort of realistically reflects the job situation. So my students will come to me, well, why do you do this, and why do you force me to use on-campus IT infrastructure? If in reality, all programmers, all software engineers have their own setup, they have their own sort of libraries and the stuff installed in the real world. Wouldn't it be better to say, well, entry-level programmers should just go back to pen and paper? We have basics, and I have my first programming exams, pen and paper, pseudocode. So the language didn't matter. So to understand the basics, and then the further you progress with this, the more you actually can use the tools as they are used out there.
Yes. It's 100% true. Actually, I want to divide it into two problems. One is that nowadays our shift is being seen in the IT companies. Now all the IT companies started, giving a limited number of tokens. Previously, it was totally free. And now the second thing is that even I use a pen and paper nowadays as well. But the problem is that this Gen Z or this, they won't listen to us. They won't be using that stuff. So that's why if we have a limited number of tokens given in a university, and they know that we can't even take this assignment out of this computer or out of this infrastructure, then they will go at home and search for those keywords. At least they are studying, at least they are investing their time to understand these things. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And tokens are expensive.
Yeah, I mean, that's the economic aspect to it. Yeah, they are, and they will be getting more and more expensive.
More and more expensive. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you.
So we'll be moving on to the second talk, which